Welcome everyone. My name is Debbie Mann. I'm with Festivals and Events Ontario, and welcome to Tuesday Talks and Festivals Helping Festivals. My co-host is...
Hi there, I'm Marnie Lapierre. I am on the board for Festivals and Events Ontario. I am calling in from Timmins, where I operate Northern Events and Tourism Consulting and have been involved with this industry for many, many, many years in various aspects. So thank you very much for joining today. I think it's a great topic and I think we're ready to go. How about you?
Excellent, I am. Well, welcome everybody again. For those who've just joined us, if you could put your company name by your name, or if the company name is there, if you can put your name so that we know who we're talking to. All right, Marnie, over to you.
Okay, so today's topic is working with municipalities. If you're hosting an event, you usually have some kind of interaction with your municipality in many different ways. And now that, things are opening up a lot more than what they were before. We know there's been changes, there's been successes, there's been challenges, and this forum is meant to create an engagement where we can learn from each other's experiences to make all of our events better, because by making all of our events better, we are servicing the industry and we are driving that visitor agenda so that they're traveling all over the province, so that they're encountering our culture, so to speak. So the municipalities do play a very large part of this because of venues or working with various departments to ensure that things are carried out. I had great experience this summer through my time with Science North, bringing the Great Northern Ontario Roadshow through 10 different communities in Northern Ontario, from Parry Sound all the way up to Thunder Bay, actually even further. I think we went up into Kenora. And there was a lot of engagement within the municipal departments that we had to work with to ensure a safe, wonderful event. And every single municipality, for our experience at that time, was great to work with. They were very supportive. They want to see festivals succeed. Even though municipalities are not in the business of hosting events, they still want to see them happening. So Debbie and I came up with 3 questions that they're kind of broad, but I mean, this will lead into other discussion, I'm sure, and we can always put things in what we call the parking lot for later, or for discussion maybe in the new year. So the 3 questions that we've come up with are, number 1, what success have you had working with your municipality? What has changed during the pandemic and going forward, and what effect has that had on your festival? And how is the accommodation or the municipal accommodation tax helping out with your event? Are you finding that it's beneficial to fill out those applications, or is it something that your municipality is gearing more towards tourism assets in other ways? So just a broad open discussion to see how things are working out. So let's kick it off with the what successes have you had working with your municipality, and has that made all the difference for your event? So who would like to jump in first? Anybody?
Yeah, go.
Hey everyone, my name's Dave Sharp. We're out in Havelock and we run the Havelock Fire and Ice Festival. I'm about to find out how our success has gone with our municipality. We're meeting today at 1 to discuss our festival. But I have had a little bit of a success by starting out with the municipality's Economic Development Committee and having them endorse support for the festival. And I'm kind of waiting to see if that's how that plays out this afternoon. But having the support of our Economic Development Committee seems to be key.
Good. Do were you directed to the economic development office by, the main municipal office, or was that just something that you had taken your own initiative to do?
So I actually sit on the economic development committee, and I started out by taking I took a certificate in economic development with Metropolitan University, and we created a paper on the economic impacts of the Fire and Ice Festival. So I'm really trying to drive home the economic impact that tourism has on our municipality, and using the TRIA model and information from the RTO8 visitor spending, and just really trying to show like what the possibilities are as far as like visitor spending, and really starting from that, because I feel like our municipality anyway wants to see dollars and cents, and we are asking for a partnership and an investment. So I think in order to do that, we have to like supply a lot of data that makes sense, and that's really what we're starting with, is showing like exactly what the return on investment is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I kind of have a question. How old is your event?
So our first event was 2020. Actually, I guess it would be 2019, and then we also ran in 2020, and then we have not had anything since COVID. We do run an outdoor rink in our community, and that's kind of what the festival is centered around. And so this will be the 5th year for the outdoor rink. And it's just, located at the community center, and kind of endured through COVID. And then our festival is kind of centered around that.
Yeah, so we've run the festival twice in February, 2019 and 2020, and then 2 years off. And we're hopeful to be running it this February, 2023, with the support from council. And we also applied for the Fed Dev grant.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So up in Havelock, I just have in Havelock, is Havelock, like, are you on in a park, or are you on the street? I'm just curious, because I know that some of the bigger communities, you have to, I don't know what kind of permits and everything you need, and Marnie, you can jump in on this, but like, what is it like working with them to make sure that you've got everything booked, and your EMS and your police and all of that? How is that going?
Yeah, we're going to maybe have the benefit of working in a very small community where the network is super small. There is requirements, but they're also like working with us. Working with the fire department, insurance requirements, and there is like, it's essentially like there's just like a very large community center that also houses like a ball diamond, and a large, like, there's a 400-acre conservation area. So it's like a fairly large green space that our festival basically uses that.
Which is all municipal property.
Great. Does anybody have anything to add to what the Fire and Ice Festival have contributed, or any questions? Kyle said here that demonstrating your festival's economic impact would be a fantastic way of demonstrating why it's beneficial for your municipality to support your event, your event, not your offense, your event. And yeah, that's really true. That's really true.
We really did find like back in 2018, when we started talking about the festival, it took a lot of work, and there was a lot of pushback from the municipality, and we really found like we spent a lot of time proving ourselves, it's basically taken 5 years to build up like they know that we can do this. We're very supported by the community, but it was actually like, it was really, really difficult to start from ground zero and build a festival in the municipality.
Mhm.
Okay. And somebody had a great question that they just put in. What's not working with your municipality?
I would say it's actually like we just like we are entirely volunteers. And it's so much work to put on the festival that we really just need support. Like we're both self-employed, so we do not have time for this, but we know the importance of building community, and we're very dedicated. So that's kind of like the missing link is like our feeling is the municipality has to make this like very, very easy for us. For instance, like fundraising and running the festival is just too big of a gap. Like we can run the festival as volunteers, but to come up with, the sponsorship, basically fundraising kind of like puts it over the edge. It's just a little bit too much work.
Yeah, so I think we need more support. I mean, we did receive some in-kind support through staffing and snow plowing and things like that, and a little bit of support towards fireworks. But yeah, we need more of that because, as many of you know, volunteer burnout is real, and we need some sustainability for our festival. Yeah.
I was even thinking today, like the meeting that we're attended, like I took the day off work to kind of prepare. And so even that is just like every time, if we're like 4 meetings a year, it's it's like thousands of dollars essentially from our business that it would be nice if the municipality just took more of like a leadership role, I feel like.
And sometimes
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes it does. I mean, it is getting better, but sometimes it was feeling like we weren't quite working together. And I wish the vision was more that they were seeing that, like, we're doing this for our community. In some ways, it's like part of their job. And so there needs to be more of like an alignment of working together, not like just looking at it as an ask. And I hope that they see more of the big picture and the ripple effect of how something like this impacts our community.
Which I think, and that's why we're heavily focused on economic development.
Dave has a question, and Pam after that.
Yeah, mine's sort of a question and a comment all in one. Working with municipalities, it's difficult because every municipality is different and stuff. And I think, if it's the first time working with municipality and the granting process, just be a little bit careful, because a lot of time a municipality will offer you a grant of, say, $60,000 or $20,000. And the community sees it as a grant, but in the end, you're going to get policing costs, you're going to get road closures, and you're going to get invoices from the city that are probably going to equal that grant, or in some cases you're going to owe them a little bit more. So just be careful in your revenue streams how you allot that money, because a lot of times it's not clear to the public, but in the terms of the agreement, it's very clear that it's going to come back through municipal services.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
Pam.
There we go.
Hey, Pam.
Hello, everyone. So with the Niagara Folk Arts Festival, I work with, it's a regional festival. I'm just counting here, 6 municipalities. So one in particular is the worst that I've ever worked with ever. So my suggestion was that, and this is what I did, I just had an event anyways. I just went to their municipality, their location, and had an event as if I was just some random person that was coming. I did the event, and I mean small budget. It was like $5,000. That was it. I then used that data to present to the city and said, this is the value of this event. And then they went, oh, okay. So it wasn't just you making up projections. It was, this many people. This is where they came. These are the comments. These are the quotes. This is the budget. And then that was harder to refute. So then we did get a small grant, $6,000. And we're going to hopefully increase as we go. But it's not just us that's talking about the numbers. It's the numbers talking for themselves. That's my suggestion.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Diane? Can't hear you, Diane. You're muted.
Okay, unmute.
There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. What is your first name, Debbie?
Yes, it is.
Oh, was I speaking with you this morning?
You were.
Oh, it's nice to see a pretty face to the voice.
Thank you.
So, I just wanted to jump in here. I am I'm on the executive of Oshawa Folk Arts, and we have a fiesta week every summer. And what we have found to be very helpful is to have a city council person be part of our meetings. And that way he can take back either requests or information back to the city, which we're under their umbrella anyway. So there's definite open communication between Oshawa Folk Arts Council and the city of Oshawa. And our festival, if you will, in 2024, we will be celebrating 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure we're one of the longest running festivals in Ontario.
Yeah, you could be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, we know that there's, we do know that there are some others that have like really long a history as well, but that's
Okay.
great. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So, and one of the reasons as we spoke earlier, Debbie, one of the reasons for me being involved in this, I was directed by our president to gather information on different avenues of grants, which I'll probably email you later, Debbie, if that's okay.
Yeah.
But at this rate, I'm finding it very interesting hearing from the 3 people so far who have been working with their municipality. And yeah, we're very fortunate that the city is supports us 100% and
Great.
in any way they can. So yeah, that's all I wanted to input with. Thank you.
Great, Diane. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
How is it for Kyle? Did you have anything? I saw your camera come back on. And to me, it's always an indication somebody wants to speak.
Well, I was just going to ask a question for the Fire and Ice Festival, or if anyone else on the call today had an experience with it, whether your municipality has like a festival and event guide or some kind of checklist that just, outlines all your permits and deadlines and things that you might need for your event. I know I had that organizing one event just to help me know, because I had an experience working with another festival, not as an organizer, but as an event supplier. But we found out the week of the event that the road permit closure wasn't granted. So the festival actually had to be canceled the week of, which, meant that I didn't have a booking that weekend. And it was really late to find out whether or not that was going to happen. So I'm just wondering, from anyone's experience, if they have that from their municipality, some kind of tool to help you know what you need and when.
I don't think we have that.
In our municipality, the Parks and Rec department, they helped us prepare like an action list. There's not a lot of there's not a lot happening in our municipality. So this is like a really, really new concept, the Winter Festival. But I have found like that action list is just like a detailed action list, who's responsible for what, different roles, and kind of like essentially just what you're saying, like a checklist. And I do think because like our community is so small, it's perhaps like a little bit easier than working in a large municipality.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
I
I'm
can
just-
say,
Go ahead. Catherine, go ahead.
I was just going to mention Catherine, actually.
Yeah. So, in our special event license application, we do have that checklist at the back, and it goes through if you are providing food service, then continue to A, B, or if you require search for locates because you're putting up a tent that's larger than 656 square feet, then do this. So I found that people will fill out the checklist and they'll put yes beside it. And then months go by and it didn't get done. And so it's nice to have an action item and have the events administrator, filling it out. But it's really hard to, when you have numerous amounts of licenses and you're asking people to say, yes, I'm going to take care of this. Sometimes people put yes and they think they're done and they don't get back to the checklist. And I'm trying to find new ways to keep that checklist active and alive in people's minds so they know that they're checking off, yes, I'm going to do this, but you may not have to do it for another month and a half, right? You may not quite get there. And then it kind of just disappears by the wayside. And now I've got a checklist that says yes. So I'm in the mindset of, yes, they are going to do that. They've said yes on their application. And then when we revisit it, I've found, sometimes it's quite a pushback. Well, I didn't know how to do this. And it's like, well, you did put that on the application. Yes, it was a month and a half ago. I could be focusing on about 40 applications at one time. So, you try to stay connected to the organizer and make sure that items are getting done. And they're critical items, right? It's critical to know where locates are, to put stakes in the ground. It's critical for you to fill out your food safety form with the particular district health unit. It's incredibly important to do your pyro permit or your fireworks permit. There's so many permits. Your road closure is incredibly important. It's incredibly important that you do get the volunteers manning them with the proper outfits. But I'm not sure how effective it is. I'm sorry for going on, and it's been definitely a problem this year with people just letting stuff fall off the list because they're so super busy, right? Your checklist, your list for what to do is astronomical, and you're working through them. So I'm trying to find a way of making it more proactive. But it has been an issue, and I feel bad for organizers that are like, oh yeah, well, I was going to do it, but and it snowballs. Yeah. Okay, go to your bathroom first.
I'm one of those people that Catherine is talking about.
I'm not pointing you out, though.
No, that's okay, because it was a great learning experience. And I have to tell you, the city of Thunder Bay has the most complete event permit that I have ever worked with. And there's a lot of moving parts. Our event was only 2 days, but the onus is on the event organizer to go through and make sure that every single part is attended to. And some communities don't have anything. There was one community, it was like, okay, what day do you want to show up? Yeah, you can go there. Throw everything up that you want to. And then you have the polar opposite, which, to be honest, makes me feel a lot more comfortable running an event when there's a guideline and specific regulations that you have to follow through. I know there are a few municipalities that have very in-depth forms that you have to go through. There's others that don't. But my recommendation is, if you're running an event, get one of those forms that have all those details and run your event accordingly, even though your municipality may not have it, because those communities that have those in-depth forms cover all the bases. They protect not only the municipality, but they protect you as well. You hire your service providers like the tents to come in, and those service providers are reliant on you that you got your locates done, that the ground is proper for those 3-foot poles the poles to go 3 feet down into the ground to secure the tent, especially if you're in a windy area, kind of a need. So I went through that exact process, and I am not feeling called out, Catherine. I am preaching to the choir here on this because it was so important. We were lucky that we had a wonderful municipality to work with when a couple of items were dropped, and I can't say enough good things about Thunder Bay because they were fantastic to work with to make sure that it happened. But you don't want to put the municipality that's handing out that special permit at risk either. You have to get these things done, and sometimes there are items on that list that take more than 6 weeks before the event to arrange. You may need an engineer to take a look at that giant 40 by 100 foot tent structure before you can allow anybody in. And those engineers don't just drop everything and run over for you. You have to book the months in advance. That's just one little thing. So that's my little bit of contribution to confirm exactly what Catherine has said. Been there, done that. I'm wearing the t-shirt now.
Dave.
Yeah, further to the conversation, and it's Marnie and the Thunder Bay people we're talking about. And I think we do have them, and if we don't, we'll make sure that we do get some examples in our vault. And maybe Deb or Jay can have a check through our vault now and see if there's some good examples in there. But we'll work with the municipality group to get some good examples of event guides and checklists and stuff like that. And you know what? There's 440 municipalities in Ontario who all do things differently, right? There's no two that are similar or the same. There's some that share elements of all of that process. And I think one of the best ones is Ottawa, where if you're an event organizer, you go into the office and they assign you somebody that handles all of your dealings with the municipal government on their end, and they're making sure that you're getting your road closure permits, or make sure that you're getting your food safety stickers, that you're getting your vendor permits and all of that. So if you're in a municipality that doesn't have something like that, in your organization that is running multiple events or going through municipalities for a number of different issues, it's always best to try to get that down to one person and one contact who's responsible for it. So in your event management or in your event team, if you need a road closure, if you need vendor permits, all of those people go to that one person who then goes to the municipality and works their way through. So if you can keep it slendered and streamlined, it's part of that situation where if it's everyone's responsibility, it's nobody's responsibility, right? So if you can pinpoint it on one person and hold them accountable and responsible, I think that's why the Ottawa system works so well, is because you're given that person to work with, and they help you, guide you through the system. They've got the relationships, and that's a big part of it too. It's I think somebody was talking about inviting people on to their meetings and stuff like that. And if you're a bigger festival, or if you have an advisory committee, it's always great to have a couple of councillors or even a mayor sit in on a couple of meetings, or invite them and get feedback back and forth. What if it's a multi-year event, what strengths are you seeing for the cities? What could we do more? How could we work together better? So whenever you can engage with the municipality, you're better off. So and like I said, if we don't have some of that information up there, we'll collect a number of good ones and put them in our vault, so that if anybody's looking in the resource center, Jay and Deb can help you find them, and we'll make sure we'll do what we can there.
Thanks, Dave. I do want to make one comment to that. I do know that the City of Ottawa invested in a program that links everything together. So when you want to do an event, they put it in and it says, well, is that property available? Is EMS available, or the police? It just sends it out to all the different departments to advise them that this is happening, so that it's on there, and it puts, I don't know, it's a pretty extensive and in-depth program that helps to manage that stuff. And I mean, you know, Ottawa is a machine for sure. So I'm just wondering, is there any other municipalities out there or any festivals working with municipalities who are aware of any application that they may be working, like, you know, Catherine, you were talking about, you know, a checklist and how to manage 40 of them. I don't know if there's some software out there that can help you with that. And if you know of anything, maybe you can pop it in there.
I don't know about any. I mean, the checklist was something that was unique to me when I started this position, and I was quite happy to see that helpfulness. That's something that the client can take with them to use later on. I can't think of another position that I've come from working in the West for 10 years. Last stop was Vancouver, and I worked for the city of Vancouver, and I didn't see a checklist of that depth either. So it's unique to the person that was prior to me in this position that built it. But it has its flaws, but it has its benefits. Yeah.
Thanks, Catherine. What about some of the others? Like, so Mira said when you apply for an event in Milton, their special events review team sends you a checklist with tasks to complete for the event with emails, links to apply to public health, licensing, etc. Mira, are you willing to jump on and sort of talk about that? Oh, she must be on. Oh, there. Okay.
Hi, yeah. So in Milton, when you apply for an event, they've got a whole events team. They send you a document. It doesn't have due dates or when you've got to complete anything by, but it kind of lists exactly what you would need in order for the event to be approved and to be given a permit.
Okay. And is it automated or is it whoever is managing it at the city?
It's whoever is managing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe there's one person in the events department, and they send out an email to everyone, like police, the mayor's office, all the parties that need to be informed of the event, just to let them know that it's happening. And yeah, we've got and everything we need to complete for it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Jerry, what do you come across any issues or concerns? I know that you are more, you know, a specific area within. You do racetracks, I think you mentioned it in here. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and the Toronto Motorcycle Show. Do you run into anything like that?
I mean, where we run into situations that we deal where I'm working right now for the clients, and Canadian Tire Motorsport Parks, probably a good example, is when we're doing advance events to promote a race weekend. So, for example, for a number of years up until the pandemic, we were running an event at Yonge-Dundas Square, which we called Race Fest. And it would happen race week. We would come in with actual race cars that are going to be on the track later in the week, a number of displays, partner displays and that. So in order to put that on, I mean, first of all, we're coming in with 10 to 15 transport trailers, tractor trailers, trying to navigate those through the streets of the city. And so there were a number of permits that we had to get in order to satisfy the city, to satisfy Yonge-Dundas Square. But it wasn't an issue. You know, I think as a venue, as an event venue, Yonge-Dundas Square did a great job of providing us with a checklist of things that we needed. And they checked in with us periodically to make sure that was plugging along. And I have to say that all of our dealings with the city and with the police were great. And, sometimes you'd hit bumps, or suddenly we'd find out that there was going to be construction in the immediate area, and they would work with us to try and, work our way through that.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I'm just going to put this out here, and I know Dave mentioned it as well. If any of you are willing to share your checklists, we can we can gather it and be the central repository for those, if you're willing to share it. I know it might be proprietary to you, but yeah, just thought I'd put that out there. What about, I can see that Tom is here from Kempenfest. Any challenges? Because yours is quite a big event. I'm just wondering if you have any input or insight that you can share.
Sorry, just trying to unmute there. Well, we have a great municipality to work with in Barrie, so they've been really helpful. This was the first year that I took over the permitting applications. It used to be done by our board member who worked for the city. So it was quite a challenge. I mean, they do everything pretty much online. But I found there was this real disconnect between, I thought I had completed what they wanted me to complete. I'd uploaded all the drawings for the tents, the stage, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, I've completed that step, but in reality, there was 3 other steps. I had to upload it separately to the building department, had to upload it separately to the fire department. I mean, there just seemed to be this, for me, this challenge of, it's one municipality. Why aren't you guys talking to each other? So once we kind of got that figured out, what needed to be done, it was a lot smoother there. And they were really helpful. I mean, the person that was assigned to me, really kept on top of me to make sure that all the other steps were done. So it was great. And there is, they kind of produced for me towards the end, well, here's this checklist. I guess we never sent you that. So they do have a checklist that helps you go through all that. So, I think just having a great relationship with the municipality is the starting point. And, we've been around for 50 years and been partnered with the city on it, even though they aren't technically part of the organization. They sit on our board, so we have that kind of input all the time. So, it's, I think just maintaining that good relationship helps a lot. So I'm sure we got by with a lot of stuff that a new event maybe wouldn't get by because of who we were, but I think just following the steps that they provide to you and making sure that you're on top of all those things that they need, the drawings, the site maps, all that kind of stuff. You just got to be on top of it.
Right. And I'm just curious for all of you. Sorry, Marnie, I'm kind of jumping in here. Have you found a change working with the municipality pre-pandemic or, pre-pandemic versus post-pandemic? Have you found it easier, harder, or just different?
Certainly, I think different. I think people, just the processes are different. But I don't think in a good or bad way. I mean, it's just like so many other things are different now. But no, they were good to work with, and our thinking had to change, and I'm constantly trying to drive that back down to the board level, which for us, the board level is 5 or 6 nonprofits that run a portion of the event. So they often are always just kind of thinking about their part of the event and not so much the bigger Kempenfest event. So trying to get them to, think differently about health and safety, about emergency planning. That's a big challenge for me and for our organization, is trying to make sure that we're, coming up to speed with that sort of planning that needs to be done. Even stuff as, communication across the event should there be an emergency. We have no way to really communicate. There's no loudspeaker system. We cover 1.5 kilometers of the waterfront. And, stuff like an active shooter situation, which no one ever thinks about, but now, that's, especially in the States, a big thing now. What happens? What do you do? How do you communicate, to, 50, 60,000 people spread out across a couple of kilometers on what's going on and what needs to be done. So those kinds of things are where we're at, starting to think of those things and trying to get the city at the table for that, because that's going to really need them to come through. So those things, I think, are the changes that we are now kind of facing and what we're looking at in the years to come.
So security is an issue then, and you find that there's things changing within your participants at your festival, or are you just being what's the word? You're just trying to be proactive.
Yes, certainly proactive. I mean, we have security throughout the event, and they have a communication system. So, communicating among the security guards can be done. The board level, the city, the chairman and one person at each kind of portion of the event is on two-way radio communication. But getting messages out to the public is really, something that we need to focus on. How would we, get that message out to leave the area or to take cover, even, in cases of bad weather. And we've had that where, we've had near tornado situation blow through the event, and we had no way to really kind of communicate that to anybody about what was happening. We were relying more on kind of public, radio and weather services to communicate that to people. So, just something as simple as loudspeakers, spread throughout the event where you could communicate and blast a message out to people. But from the challenge is that it's expensive, and more security, more fencing, all of this adds to expense that oftentimes we don't have the funds for it. I mean, for us this past year was a very good year, and we had a lot of grant support for stuff like that, but that's probably not going to always be there. And how do we cover those kind of expenses in the future if the grant money isn't there? That's part of our challenge.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Diane?
Yes. So anyway, I'm also a pavilion chairperson for our Fiesta Week, which obviously runs the whole week. We start on Father's Day with a huge parade, and then the rest of the week, the pavilions take over, and the citizens of Oshawa go from pavilion to pavilion, enjoying their food, their culture, their dance, their music, and so on. Now, what I would like to input is that we get quite a bit of in-kind services from our city of Oshawa, which helps to reduce our expenses. We set on Father's Day, we set everything up at a place called Memorial Park, downtown Oshawa. And of course, that belongs to the city. And we do have to follow a lot of guidelines that the city, as I said before, we're under their umbrella. And so we have to follow their guidelines and make sure that we're following all the rules and regulations. One thing what I have found very helpful is that usually in May, we have a chairman's dinner where we invite officials from the police department in Oshawa, the fire department in Oshawa, anything that's going to pertain for the safety and the smooth running of our Fiesta Week. And we do have a dinner for them also. And we found with having people in front of us that we can gather much more information. I know I know we are a world of computers and technology and whatnot, but there really isn't anything better than being face to face with somebody and getting the information that we need right then and there, rather than having to wait for somebody to get back to us. And, you know, all the city officials and all the other departments that we deal with also are busy. So again, we just found it very helpful to get together, and we also invite the pavilions to this chairman's dinner so they can throw out questions and they can get all the information pertaining to the Fiesta Week. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
You're welcome.
So we'll go on to the next, the last question is in regards to the accommodations tax. And having worked a few events over the summer, I've noticed every community handles it a little bit differently. Are you finding that you're able to easily access the funds for your event? Are there different processes? Are they only, is the municipality, for those of you that are accessing it, are they only funding very specific portions of the event, or, you know, is it an overall, or is it being more aligned with the in-kind services that a municipality may provide to, you know, if you're using their venue, if you're using any of the public works services, you know, when it comes to preparing the site, or emergency services that are attached to the municipality, like, you know, police services or EMS. What is your take? Now, the municipal accommodations tax, for anybody who isn't accessing those funds, this was set out by the government a couple of years ago. Well, just as basically as COVID hit, where I believe it's 3%, or it might be 4%. All hoteliers pay that percentage to the municipality. It is put into a fund that is meant to drive tourism revenue and increase it through various projects, be it events or be it tourism infrastructure of creation of an asset, like say you have a historical item that pertains to the community. In Timmins, it's a head frame, or in our particular case, we also have a rail car because we were one of the first Northern Ontario spur lines. That's a history lesson for another time. Is anybody aware of it? Are you making use of it? And has it changed at all over the last couple of years if you are accessing it? Anybody want to jump in? I see Megan, we don't have any hotels, so no accommodations tax revenue to access in our municipality. That is difficult. That is difficult if you are in one of those areas that is without. It's always been a question of mine whether or not the government is going to balance that out a little bit better, because I think it was their view to kind of realign what funds were being distributed through government and municipal services. Let me see if there's anything else. I think I answered the question, what the accommodation tax is, but is anybody, are you working with it? How do you find it so far? It is a relatively new method of funding to access. Does it apply to Airbnbs? That question being asked by Fire and Ice. That the last time I heard of anything, municipalities were the ones to get a hold of Airbnb, the actual organization, to have those discussions. The last I heard, it was not going well. So, but that was a year and a half ago. Since then, I don't know what's been going on. Accommodation, Seabrook, Niagara Folk Arts. Accommodation taxes are not shared with us. All stay in Niagara Falls. Okay. Just a question for that, Pam. By saying I'll stay in Niagara Falls, your event isn't actually in Niagara Falls, but in the Niagara region?
Yes, yeah, we're a regional throughout. And I know that other festivals, put it this way, our base office is in St. Catharines. So even though we have an event in Niagara Falls, we don't share. And I know other events that aren't based in Niagara Falls do not get any of the accommodation tax. So even though you have events in Niagara Falls, sorry, not for you.
Really? Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. Just learned. Thank you.
What about other regions? Like, I mean, at other, Milton. What about RTO 9? Do you have anything, Stephen or Steve, do you have anything that you know about for that? No, you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
I do see a question from Fire and Ice. Does it apply for motels or just hotels? All accommodation services. So hotels, motels, lodges. I know they were chasing down Airbnb, but I don't know the result of that yet. They are all expected to be contributing into that. And I do have to update my information because things may have changed since the last time I looked at it, but it's supposed to be both.
And Pam also added that in Niagara Falls, also, I was going to say Newfoundland, in Niagara Falls, it also includes restaurants. So
yeah, I think that's based on the municipalities that's already started, because I think Niagara Falls was previous to all of that, was already collecting some form of tax, I think.
Steven said it's different in many of our destinations. Sorry, my mic isn't working. Okay. I don't know. Do you have anything else, Marnie? I was just reading a message from somebody, so.
No, that's okay. We did cover the 3 topics. It is a very intensive topic to go into because, the municipalities is one of our, is an events, one of their larger partners, and it's always good to find the best way to work with them. As Diane had said, getting face to face with your partners, especially municipality, you do get more information, and it's all about nurturing those type of relationships, pre-post and during the event, so that that connectivity happens, the flow of information happens. It helps engage those various departments that you're working with. Everybody loves an event, and the departments work hard, because again, a municipality is not in the business of running events and hosting events. The municipality is in the business of running the municipality and making sure that the roads are open, your ditches are free and clear, and all that goes with it. This is the fun side of things. And I will say this, an experience from 2017 and 2018 when we had Stars and Thunder, which was the first, well, other than when Shania Twain came home, the first major event that all departments of the municipality had to work together, because we had 20,000 people coming in above and beyond our own residents. So we ran a city within a city, and we had everybody involved, and that engagement where departments got to see each other, work with one another, and the feedback that we got about running events going forward was absolutely priceless, because you get that experience from the departments that are helping you out. And if you have the ability to sit down and talk with the public works guys, the fire department, they'll be there if the fireworks don't go well, your EMS services, and you can share the information about your event and what you're hoping that they can provide, and they can come back to you with what they can provide or what they can't, but they will have suggestions because their network is vast as well. So if you can nurture that municipality relationship, I really recommend doing it. And you'll be left with less surprises on day of event, because we all know they don't go perfectly, than if you don't have those conversations. Just filling in the form and sending it in, you need to do a little bit more than that. And I know for the most part, a lot of these events are run by volunteers and, you know, doing it on own time above and beyond your 9-to-5 job. It's difficult, but you know, if you want to see the success of an event, I think it's a really crucial part that you need if you're utilizing your community services that are there. And that's just my own opinion, but it's also with my experience, works a lot better. The conversations, either by phone or in person, definitely have proven to be so beneficial.
Yeah, and you know, it's my humble opinion that municipalities want you to succeed. They're there to support you. So it's just, you know, building the relationship if you're new to doing that. And anyways, we've run out of time, Marnie and everyone. So Kyle said, when festivals and municipalities working hand in hand, it's a win. That's true, Kyle. It's true. He said, cities aren't in the business of running events, but festival organizers bring the outcome city needs. Our industry has demonstrated its economic impact, and we need our festivals. We need our festival culture celebrations to build those community ties cities need to thrive.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, everyone. Just a quick reminder, there are the next Tuesday talk with FEO will happen in the new year, and it'll be again with Marnie and I, and it will be on the grant. It'll be about grants, and I sent an email out to you all. So it'll be all about grants and funding. So I want to thank you all for participating with us over this past year. It has been a blast. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and looking forward to seeing you in the new year. Be safe, have fun, and enjoy your families. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Marnie, for being such a great contributor to this. And we will see you in the new year. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jay, for being our rock in the back end, too. That's it. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday season.